Oh, hello there. Fancy seeing you off the beaten path. So I came out to film a video the other day and it just didn't go to plan at all. And I kind of had to redo it and tweak it, and it just sort of ended up being this big mess, and it was incredibly frustrating and upsetting and disheartening because I couldn't fix it basically. And it was just incredibly frustrating. And I think one of the reasons why I was getting frustrated was because I wasn't doing better, if that makes sense. Like I couldn't fix it, and I couldn't just film it again a second time and just have it fixed. You know, it was like annoyed at myself for not having better skills, which is horrible, right? Like that's a horrible thing. Anyway, I was really frustrated, and for some reason this day I just couldn't handle the stress. It was just like too much, and I was going a bit insane, and I didn't know what to do because I just couldn't seem like I'm normally pretty good at dealing with stress, and I can handle things, and when things go wrong I can fix them and just like crack on with it. But for some reason this was just too much, and I just couldn't deal with the stress. So I ran a bath, and I had some bubbles, I had a candle, I had relaxing music, and I had like a hair mask and a face mask, and I just like chilled in the bath and I massaged my whole body. And when I came out, I felt a lot better, which is kind of obvious, right? Like you do relaxing things and they're gonna help you be relaxed. And then the moment I went back to work, I just felt so stressed again. And the ironic thing is the video I was trying to make afterwards is this video, which is all about learning to enjoy the process. There's a plane, always a plane. I need to stop filming here, there's always planes. I've really been learning this lesson of loving the process for some time now, and everyone handles things differently, and for me, creating content is quite a fast-paced thing. That's probably not the best way to describe it, but for some people they like to take their time and be a bit of a perfectionist, and I did try that at one point in my life and that didn't really work for me. So for me it's more about making stuff while it's fresh, while it's relevant to myself, while I still love the footage and the content. If it gets too old, then I feel disconnected from it, and I am far less enthusiastic to deal with that footage. And it's about learning and improving with each piece. So I'm more than happy to create something and put it out there in the world, even though it might not be perfect, because I learned from it. So for me, it's more about learning and moving on to the next piece, rather than spending too much time on something and then feeling disconnected from it and then putting it out there and then probably not still feeling 100% great about it. So I've been learning to love the process, because nothing is ever going to be perfect. And I really learned that this week when I was trying to make that video, and it just wasn't working and it was just going against me. And there are definitely some lessons that have been learned to help with future difficulties, but basically what I'm trying to say is that nothing is ever going to be complete, especially anything creative. Like when you make a piece of art, you're probably never going to think it's perfect. You're never going to be happy with it. And I started my manifestation journal, and I put this on my stories. I started it, and then I realized when I went to look at it again that I'd done it upside down in the book, and like back to front. It was like upside down and back to front. And I was really annoyed because I did this nice front cover and I really liked the front cover and I was really chuffed with it. Even though I used the wrong paints and I didn't have a rubber to rub out the pencil lines, I was still really pleased with the front cover. So I went to redo the front cover in the correct place on the book, and I was just getting frustrated because it wasn't like the original one that I had done, and I wanted it to look like the original one. And I basically learned that I had to just let go of that idea and create what was meant to be in that moment. So I just drew a new design similar to the old one. I just accepted it wasn't going to look identical, and that's just how it is. You have to just create what you want in that moment, and that's something that I've been learning a lot with YouTube, especially when I do talking pieces. And I used to do this all the time when I was more of a perfectionist, but I would talk about something, and then when I finished talking, I'd later on in the day or the next day think, oh, I should have said this, or I should have said that, or I forgot to mention this or that. And that the trick is to just accept that what you say in the moment is just what's meant to be in the moment, and that it's always a forever process. It's never perfect, it's never complete. You can only be so happy with what you've done. And I suppose part of this whole process is learning to accept that you are the only judge. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks, it doesn't matter how anyone perceives your work, it doesn't matter if anyone agrees or doesn't agree with it. You are the only judge of your own work. You are only trying to please yourself, and you have to enjoy the process, because there is no destination. There is no destination in life, no destination in creativity. It's all a process filled with lows and highs and lessons. And for me, doing YouTube is really helping me to just accept the process as the constant state that I am in, and that I'm always an amateur and a student, and I'm never perfect. So I came out today to re-film a video, a snippet in a video that I had done like twice already, and I came out twice in one day to re-film it because I had somehow just messed up. One time I filmed it, the footage was corrupt. Second time I filmed it, it was blurry for some reason. The settings had been knocked on the camera and just made the whole thing blurry. And it's just like, but it's a learning curve. Now I know to always check the settings before I press record, which is obviously something that I should already know, and I do check some settings, I just didn't normally check these particular ones. So it's a lesson, and I have to be grateful for it. So I would say part of this whole learning to love the process, there's a few things to really acknowledge and be mindful of. Firstly, you're never going to be perfect. It's always a process, never a destination. And secondly, be mindful to the lessons that you are getting from the mistakes because they help. The amount of times I look back to a bad day that I've had where everything just went wrong, and I think actually I learned quite a few good lessons from that, and it saved me a lot of time in the future. Like, I know that this horrible week that I've had will save me a lot of time in the future, I hope. I'm currently in Scotland, hence why I'm filming in a rather spacious hotel room and not outside. It rains a lot in Scotland. It's rained like every single day, and if it's not raining, it's not really warm enough to be outside. I'm learning that this is probably not the place for a sun-loving, outdoor, creative being like myself. Me and Liam came to Scotland for about a day, and then we went to the Peak District for a day, and now we've come back to Scotland and we're here for about a week. And then we're not sure where we're going after that. It's a bit chaotic. The back and forth is for his job, which is why it's a bit all over the place. But this whole experience is really teaching me even more about how to just be one with the process, which sounds really cheesy, but I started this video before I came to Scotland, and I just watched it back because I wanted to finish this video, and I feel I have like a bit of a weird relationship with making videos, but I feel like I can't leave a video too long or I become very disconnected from it and just kind of don't know where I'm going with it or why I've started it, or like don't feel connected to the idea behind it. as well as the footage and the content in general. So I watched the video back, but I felt a little bit inspired because I started my journal, my manifestation journal, which I spoke about. I did some more of that, and let me show you. So while I was in the hotel last night, I did some more of the manifestation journal. Let me show you all where I'm at. Got my intro page. Yep, pretty simple. And then I've got a picture of myself, and I've written a note to myself, because the point of this journal is it's like a scrapbook as well as like an ideas journal, as well as a manifestation journal, and like a kind of goals and desires and dreams, aspirations type journal. So I wrote a note to myself that says, get your dreams and all you want in life, and then I signed it by myself, and then I also put a little quote on this side. And then I was on a roll. I wrote another note which really summed this up, because as you know, I started this book and then ended up ripping a page out and I had to start again, and I ripped another page out, and this is what inspired me to write this note, because this is something that I struggle with. It's not like things not being perfect, but making too many mistakes and not improving from them quicker or quickly enough. So I kind of wrote this in here because I'd ripped the pages out and I didn't want to be a perfectionist with this book, because that defeats the whole point, because nothing's ever perfect, right? So this is what I wrote. Nothing has to be perfect or complete. Life flows, changing with the times, my experiences, dreams, desires, mood, and everything in between. This book is my current self. It is real and authentic. It is true to my mind and subject to change. This was my intro to remind myself that this book, whatever I put in this book going forward, can change. Any goals or dreams or aspirations that I put in this book are welcome to change. They're welcome to shift. And I'm welcome to make mistakes in this book, because I have a little bit of like creative perfection, which I think everyone has to a degree, and I've let go of that in a lot of aspects of my life. But with personal things, I think that's the hardest part to let go, because we are our biggest judge. I think it's quite easy to let go of the perfection for other people, but when it's yourself, it's just like a bit deeper rooted. The reason why I was a bit of like worried about making mistakes in this book is because it cost 25 quid off Amazon, and I felt this pressure of like not making a mistake and like making it really crap and just like not having it be as I had it in my mind. So that's why there's a bit of weird delusional pressure to make it better than it needs to be. But this book is really helping me to just let go of that and let go of the personal ideas that I have about being better and getting to a point. I think that's the thing I'm trying to say here, is that we do not need to get to a point. We don't need to learn and practice and perfect ourselves or perfect our craft or whatever it is and then get to a finished point, because that point doesn't exist. It's constantly changing, it's constantly shifting, and you're constantly changing and constantly shifting, and you're forever in that state of shifting and changing. You're forever a process and never an end point. And this book is helping me, so I highly suggest making a little scrapbook and a little manifestation journal and fill it with doodles and pictures and memories and ideas. Yeah. It's also kind of just a bit of fun, because I don't want to take it too seriously, and I think that's probably one of the biggest lessons you can learn in life, is to not take it too seriously. And when you allow yourself to let go of the end point, let go of the destination, and trust that it is a process and a journey, and it's going to be all over the place throughout your entire life, that's when you start to just have fun with it, because there's no goal, there's no target, and there's no idea in your mind of what things should be, especially when it comes to anything creative. Once you lose that end point, it's just fun, you're just playing, right? So I've got these pictures printed off, which, you know me, I love me a scrapbook. And most of the pictures that I've got printed off are like pictures from my phone. Like, they're not professional looking, they're not deep, they're just like pictures of nature. They're not particularly professional or anything, they're just silly camera snaps that most people online have never even seen. And then I also got some pens and some paints, because I'm going to get creative with it and artistic and like just mess about with it and try to not worry if I mess up the book or the pages or the decor or the aesthetics. Just like go with it. And then I also got loads of stickers because I'm kind of addicted to stickers. And these are all very childlike, you know, I'm just playing, I'm just decorating with it, I'm just doing whatever I feel like doing in the moment. And I just suggest everyone get yourself a book and doodle in it. I don't think I've mentioned yet, but I do have a new lens for my camera, which I'm pretty excited about. I think getting new gear really gives you more oomph in your creativity and your hobbies, and just like sparks your inspiration, your creativity all over again. So I'm really excited about this lens because I like me some wide angle. So I'm going to end this video here. Thank you for watching. Stay playful, stay in the process, don't be too hard on yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.